Hi guys, first off, thank you, board members, Dr. Rendon, Jim Faust, thank you for being here. I swear if this ends up on YouTube. All right, anyway, we are Legacy, and we decided to make Legacy not just because it's an optimistic and futuristic term, but it also was a designed acronym for life, energy, growth, action, commitment, and most importantly, yourself. Not you, but the people you'd be impacting. An incredibly detailed explanation for each of those words is listed in your packet, which you'll be getting later. But other than that, I will start off. I am Ethan Easterwood. I am an editor at the BG News, as well as the Vice President of Public Relations on the Interfraternity Council. I will be here as a side note next semester, and willing to help, and I think that value will be expressed as we delve deeper into the presentation.
I'm Simone Jackson. I'm the account executive. I'm also the editor of The Obsidian, and I've had a couple internships I have a more of a print journalism side, but I am PR. And I will also be here with Ethan next year. I graduate in December, so if you need any further help with anything, I'd be glad to hear.
I'm Lauren Graham. I've interned with the International Studies Department on campus and also at an entertainment and sports marketing firm in Chicago.
I'm Sarah Buckley. I bring social media and strategy experience from internships in both New York and also the local Toledo area. In response to the Garrett Lee Smith Campus Suicide Prevention Grant, Legacy PR Consulting strives to create a community of care through education and empowerment of the members of Bowling Green State University. The goal of our campaign is to bring this community of care to the BGSU campus through programs, activities, and various communication channels in order to make those affiliated with the campus responsible individuals. This campaign will also reduce stigmas associated with help-seeking behaviors, increase awareness of resources, and create a more welcoming environment for the diverse body of the BGSU campus.
Our goals. I'm going to read to you three, and there are several objectives in your proposals that you can look at further. The first goal is to create awareness among BGSU students, faculty, and staff that suicide is a problem, and then to educate them about suicide risk factors and prevention during 2013 and 2014 academic school year. The second one is to change attitudes associated with suicide help behaviors and to reduce the stigma of people who have been affected or will be affected by suicide. And then the third is to create a community of care at BGSU by empowering students, faculty, and staff through education and training to intervene for students who exhibit distress or suicide risk behaviors. Our target groups were LGBT, veterans, Greeks, first-generation students, and BGSU faculty and staff.
We decided to choose LGBT as a specific focus group mainly because the community itself faces the constant struggle for acceptance, whether it be from its families, friends, or campus population as a whole. Society is making strides towards this acceptance, however, not everyone is. This has led to depression, feelings of worthlessness, and suicide behaviors. Videos have flooded sites like YouTube with bullied individuals expressing their pain, and as a result, those who have been strong enough emotionally to make it this far have banded together into a very tight-knit community. And this is one of the main reasons why we chose LGBT as a target group. And a main tactic that we would like to share with it is partnering with specific LGBT groups, several of them being LGBT Resource Center, HUE, Vision, Women Who Love Women, and TAG. And these were individuals who came to our focus group, so we were able to ask them about that and confirm.
And to understand veterans, I interviewed Eric Butekofer, who's the academic advisor for non-traditional and transfer students, and he is a veteran himself. There are about 600 veterans on campus, and he mentioned that it may be difficult to have veterans see the importance of gatekeeper training since they participate in some form of depression and suicide training with the military. But he believes that it is important for them to recognize the difference about campus suicides. He attended a Veterans Affairs conference in the Cleveland area where he was introduced to Second Life. And Second Life is a virtual online community that uses avatars in place of people, kind of like The Sims. And you can virtually interact online. And they use this to gauge sensitivity training toward suicide, where the individuals would be given a list of responses to what the other avatar was saying to them, and then they gauge the sensitivity based off their answers at the end. It's about 1.5 to 2 hours. And he sits on the board of this grant as well, so he would be the individual to further discuss implementing this tactic. And for faculty and staff, we sent out an online questionnaire, and one statement that stood out in particular was, if we have one suicide on campus, we have a suicide problem. So focusing on this, another faculty member said, I usually approach them from an academic angle because the symptoms are usually affecting their performance in class. From this, they will often share what is going on. So to build off that, faculty and staff could further educate themselves through gatekeeper training sessions, and since they all mentioned that they have very busy schedules, we would create an interactive video that they could watch on their own time, and then this would be convenient for them, as well as kind of changing it and tweaking it a little bit so that resident advisors and peer educators could additionally use the videos as well.
Our next focus group is first generation students. We actually came up with this target audience after we conducted a focus group with them. If you didn't know, 35% of all BGSU students are first generation, so that's a pretty big number. It rounds out to about 7,000 students. And from our focus groups, we found that first generation students feel significant pressure to succeed just because maybe their families obviously didn't go to college, and so they don't have something or someone to say, okay, this is how you would handle this or that. So there might be that added pressure. From our focus group, we found that all participants, they said that they do receive some kind of support at home, but it's limited just because their parents don't know enough about college to tell them, like I said, what to do in certain situations. All of the participants in our focus group said that they knew of first generation students or themselves that would participate in destructive kind of behavior, substance abuse, alcohol abuse, to cope with the pressure of college. And then all of the participants in our focus group said that they had some kind of financial struggles, and they relied heavily on scholarships and grants. And financial struggles is also a risk factor in suicide. So the tactics that we have to address this focus group specifically is gatekeeper training as a component of a UNIV course. If you're not familiar with UNIV courses, they're courses that normally just freshmen take, but if you've received a scholarship from the school, then you are required to take these courses. And a lot of the people who receive scholarships, certain scholarships, are racial minorities through the Office of Multicultural Affairs. So a lot of them are in these classes, and we do want to target those as well. And then another tactic would be to implement mental health sessions at SOAR that students and their parents could go to just learn about a healthy lifestyle while you're in college.
Our last focus group was the Greek community. We knew that going into this semester, there had been 6 suicides in the past 3 years. And at the time, 2 of them, the 2 most recent, were Greek men. For your information, the Greek men, the fraternal community, is about 4% of this population. We didn't know if there was anything there, so I began to look further into it. I found absolutely nothing, not a thing, when I researched things, and was about ready to just throw this one away. And but I figured I'd investigate a little further. I figured with threats of hazing and the alcohol problems that there had to be something for a reason for it. So we conducted a focus group, and we found a bunch of statistics, as you can see up there. But most importantly, that almost 85% reported they knew someone personally in the community that had struggled with suicidal thoughts. So then after we conducted the focus group, probably the worst possible thing could happen. Another individual committed suicide this semester, and he was part of the Greek community, which only kind of validates the importance of this subgroup. And one of the tactics that we really want to implement with this, and through my position on the Interfraternity Council, I've spoken with Jeff Kagolis, who's a Dean of Students with the Fraternity Sorority Life, Chris Bolins, who's just a Dean of Students and is a very active member of Fraternity and Sorority Life, and both have said that because of the Greek community being a volunteer-based community, they can implement, as long as all 4 Greek councils agree, that certain percentages of chapters can go to the gatekeeper trainings to really kind of hit it right there. When we launched the campaign, we decided to come up with a slogan, I am help. We thought it was simple. We thought it was easy. But the color scheme we deliberately chose because we wanted to represent BG. We wanted it to blend in. We wanted it to stand out, but not to the point where it would convey that there is a serious problem here. The last thing we want is 10 years from now, people thinking, don't go to BG, people commit suicide at BG. The capitalization of I am stresses the importance that the person wearing this logo or incorporating this logo embodies, and the help is in brackets, much like the RED campaign for the AIDS in Africa campaign, but we lowercased help because we wanted it to be almost transferable with other words, maybe like friend or ally, things of those nature. Another important difference that we decided to go with is we decided to do community of care. We feel that BG is made up of several little communities. If you didn't notice, the last couple slides we said the veteran community, the Greek community. We feel that BG is one large community and that this is more focused on the way this campaign is directed.
Okay, our strategies for our I Am Help campaign is traditional media, special events, and social media.
Sorry.
Before we get into our tactics, we had some suggestions for gatekeeper training from our focus groups. Pretty much everyone said that they would be interested, but it would need to be at convenient times and not last all day. So we came up with the idea, like we suggested earlier, to come up with an interactive video that people could access while they were at home or while they were doing something else and not have to come to an event. And I think we think that that would reach more students and faculty. We suggest having those videos for faculty especially, but also for student org leaders and RAs. And then we suggest holding faculty training, or not faculty training, I'm sorry, gatekeeper training pretty much once a month, excluding August, December, and May, just to be, is again, flexibility for people who have busy schedules and things like that. And then incentives to come to gatekeeper training, our idea was to do an iPad drawing at the end of the year. It would be 2 iPads, and every student that completed training would be put into this drawing. And then also, we would give out I Am Help t-shirts to those who completed gatekeeper training, and that's a sample. And just the t-shirts would help to just get the word out around campus. So maybe somebody who doesn't know, they could see that shirt and say, oh, what's that about? And then it would just start discussion and word of mouth. Some of our other tactics, we have plenty in your proposal, but these are just a couple that we're going to focus on today. Our peer educators, stickers.
I was figured we'd go into depth.
That's okay. All right. Our first one is peer educators. We recommend hiring 2 peer educators, and we actually would recommend that you hire someone who identifies with one of our target groups or more, and also a student who is maybe public relations, marketing, business, education major. These students would have a variety of tasks. A couple include posting content to the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, which we'll talk about later, promoting upcoming events, and then registering students for gatekeeper training and helping with special events. And they would receive a $400 stipend and academic credit.
Another thing we really wanted to do was these stickers. We noticed that the Safe Zone stickers that the LGBT community did a couple of years ago were very, very successful. And we thought this really kind of conveyed a community of care. If you saw a faculty on his office had a sticker that said I am help, you would know that you are safe in an area where you can go and talk to. We specialized a couple of these for a couple of our other segment groups, as the LGBT community and the Greeks are up there. Oh, it's sideways. That's all right.
Well, one of the other tactics that we suggest is to hold a flash mob, specifically on September 10th, which, as we all know, is Suicide Prevention Day. The mob would take place in the Union Oval between the times of 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. and should last approximately an hour. We recommend for 30 or 40 students to be involved. The purpose of this is to create impact and awareness, especially that early in the semester, in order to catch attention and interest, and also to get more students interested in participating in the gatekeeper training sessions. Each person would be standing completely still in various poses for an hour, And they would also be wearing or holding a sign that contains thought-provoking suicide information and statistics. And our slogan, I am help, would be on the back of each person in the flash mob. So it'll be just using one of the stickers, put on the back, simple and easy, and we thought it would help with catching any passerby's attention, really.
Another thing that we were really excited to try out was this content board idea. We had noticed that certain organizations have done boards, and you could come up for the Martin Luther King Day of Service, you could say, what is your dream? Things of that nature. So we borrowed that, and it gave a couple other suggestions on topics that you could do maybe once a month, and you could have students come up. We have, in the budget, we have personalized Post-it notes available, and they would write something, an answer to this. And then you could take the pictures, you could store them at the counseling center, you could store them at the recreation wellness center. I know they're very popular at the rec center, the stickers that say, you're beautiful today, and as they sort of touched on earlier. But we thought this is a really great way to kind of get the community involved.
And in order to continue with that content board idea, we would also like to incorporate social media into it. So once these messages have been created and posted, then one of the peer educator members could easily take them, scan them onto a Tumblr site, or to create Instagram photos of them in order for any individual really to be able to access these photos visually online. We also recommend for the hashtag IamHelpBG to be created specifically on Twitter and Instagram in order for any member of the community to be able to submit messages or photos of motivation, inspiration, quotes, statistics, anything really. We also recommend for a Twitter account and a Facebook page to be created in order to share events, quotes, motivation, post pictures and such for the community to be able to interact with and send out to other members of the community.
Our timeline is detailed inside your proposal. I wanted to point out a few things. We have a list of things that we suggest that you prepare for during the summertime, just to get ready for the academic year. And then also, like we mentioned earlier, most of our events will be held in September, which is Suicide Prevention Month, and then there's some monthly gatekeeper training sessions. We did come in under budget at around $4,900, so you have plenty of extra money if there is upcoming needs or anything like that. And our evaluation, we suggest that you evaluate after each event, and we recommend using the NCHA data as a pre-campaign evaluation and then administering it again after the campaign is, well, not over, but after the school year. And we do have evaluation cards that we suggest that you give to all participants at each event. And a mock-up of the evaluation card is in your book, but it's like this. And it would basically just measure the effectiveness of whatever event that was held. It also would measure how students felt, how much they were educated about if it was an event or the flash mob or whatever. So.
Again, a blanket of thank yous for everybody. The teams, you guys did actually a really good job. Going last was not as easy as you would think it would be. But thank you guys very much for allowing us the opportunity. Any questions?
Work.
I have cookies for everyone else too, so I didn't leave you guys out.
These are in our proposal as well.
Yeah, that's not just a bribe. That's
Yeah,
actually
it's in our
the
proposal.
Yeah.
Felt like a little sugar rush might be necessary.
Oh, yeah.
Any questions or comments at all?
I really like the idea of online training, and that's sort of one of the places we started with the grant when we wrote the proposal. And some of the experiences other campuses have had is I think people have heard we need something that we can do on our own time. But then what happens is it doesn't get used, these products. And so I'm just curious about your thoughts about how to incentivize people to go towards them. And I think it's a good solution, but I'm just not sure how to make it get used.
We recommend just sending them out, maybe in email format. We would promote them on all our not Twitter sites, but all our social media sites, and then administering or distributing them again the next semester. So
I'm going to piggyback off that too. One of the biggest struggles I have as a personal position in my public relations role in IFRT is that there's a huge community of people that you need to reach and you need to talk to, and just because the information's out there doesn't mean they're going to use it. It's a situation that we all have to incur. I think Simone's right. I think you can hold their hand as much as you can and you can give it to them, but you just can't quite baby feed them. Baby feed them. I don't know if there's I don't know if there's that was the word I was looking for. Spoon. You don't feed babies. So I hope that complex answered your answer.
How many faculty how many faculty and staff did you send the questionnaire to?
probably around 20.
Yeah.
And how many responded?
We
received
received 10.
Seven
Okay.
responses.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yes.
And they were all from a wide range of majors.
Yes,
So
yes.
it wasn't just like was specifically within like the journalism department or in the
yeah.
other one really. It was a variety of different
We have
faculty members.
quite
And the
random
ones
minors.
that answered all genuinely felt that it was in their and as they held their positions that they should step in and that they had stepped in. So maybe it was because they had either walked a student personally to the counseling center or called the counseling center with them in the room or gave them information. I think that's why they felt the need to answer or felt obligated to answer, and they all felt as human beings that it was something they should do.
Because they had some sort of personal
Experience.
with it. Did you ask your groups specifically about the incentives, like what types of incentives that they would be likely to?
I'll start. When I did the Greek focus group, we were very fortunate that Lauren is the Chipotle representative.
Yes.
Free
And
Chipotle.
we were able to use
And
that.
what was originally supposed to be 9 guys turned into 13, turned into 17. So we had a lot of guys. But we pitched a couple ideas at them because it was the first focus group about would you be willing to attend, and would you be able to, what incentives would you guys like to attend? And these are things that we kind of came back with.
I'm always curious about what incentives will get people to attend. Like the gatekeeper training, like what will get people to
Free.
come to programming?
Anything free. Free Chipotle,
mean,
free t-shirts, free food.
I'm a sucker for T-shirts,
Yeah.
but that's just me. But
I mean, I'm just curious
I'm
if there was
okay.
anything like that stuck out, or if there was anything like, out of the ordinary, or somebody said, yeah, this is, no, I'm just curious if there was anything new or anything, other than t-shirts or something that stuck out to you all that was different.
Any other questions at all?
All right, thank you very much.
Awesome.